the second episode of Campus Connect. We are an Amity University and we thank them for the space they provided us. This is part 2 of Campus Connect. This time again we are in Delhi. We have a fantastic panel of guests. We have a fantastic audience lined up for you. Again, today, since this is a Delhi-centric show, we will be talking about Delhi elections, the main protagonists, the contenders, the challengers, and we will also talk about 3 issues that affect all people living in Delhi. Women's safety is a big issue. It's not just an election issue, it's an issue that affects us all. Also, corruption is rampant. Corruption is rampant, as is inflation. We will talk about that as well. Let me just quickly introduce the panel to you. We have Nupur Sharma from the BJP. We have Preeti Sharma from the Aam Aadmi Party. We have Shobha Oza from the Congress Party. Joining us for an independent voice on the panel is Karuna Nandi. She's a Supreme Court lawyer. Manu Kataria is with the ABVP. Please welcome her. And completing the panel will be Radhika Krishnan from AISA. She's a student leader. Many thanks, Radhika, for joining us. And of course, before we start the show, give a round of applause to yourselves, the audience who's sitting here. The name of the show is Campus Connect. It's your show. We'll get into it right away. Give yourself a big hand. All right. Since Shobha Oza is the Congress representative, and I will ask you specifics as well, because everyone gets a minute each. You've got yours. That, of course, was the Congress Party representative. Let's ask the BJP now, really, why they should vote, you should vote for the BJP in this upcoming election. Ma'am, the Congress has given their pitch. You have a minute to go.
And
there you go.
If you're talking about Delhi elections, I'm just going to cover up with this. I think enough of me and you feeling insecure, enough of me and you feeling unsafe on the streets, enough of me actually having to worry whether I'll come back home alive, enough of corruption, enough of scam, enough of my money, which is the taxpayer money, nobody gave it to them, you and I earned it and gave it to them, enough of that money being misused, enough of misgovernance, enough of misrule. So I think we need to change that, and I think we have shown in a lot of states in where we have BJP governments, we have shown when NDA was in power. I think there is definitely time for a BJP NDA.
All right, that's a quick pitch, and I think I agree with most of the issues that Nupur was talking about. I think there's been enough of corruption as well. We'll come back to the Congress pitch on that as well. Specifics, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking generics. I will come to specifics in just a bit. Let's go to the Aam Aadmi Party right now. Preeti Sharma, you're also a contender for the Delhi polls. Which points you've been attacking the Congress and the BJP both? Now your own leader is under fire for the same issues that he berated them for. What is the Aam Aadmi pitch for Delhi?
I'll answer your question about the issues facing Arvind Kejriwal later. But basically what I'm here to say is, we the common people of India are raring to go. Okay? We are talented, we are capable, and there's a world full of opportunities out for us. And the only thing that's holding us down has been these politicians.
We've heard the politicians speak. I'll come to the student leaders in just a bit. But Karuna Nandi, you are here not affiliated to any political party. You are just like me. I'm apolitical as well. But you've seen everything that goes on in Delhi. Someone mentioned women's safety right now. Start with that. What questions you want to ask these politicians?
I was prouder of this city in December and January than I've ever been in my life, you know, because growing up in the city, I could never have imagined that the issues that we face as women, you know, dealing with it, dealing with the people staring at us on the street, dealing with thinking, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night, it's kind of dark, how am I going to get home? Dealing with the sexual harassment in the workplace, because one is extremely educated and empowered otherwise and, you know, has other privileges. I could never have imagined that so many men and women would come out and say that, you know what, you don't have to deal anymore. It's not okay. That this is now not only an issue for the courts and for NGOs and for individual women, this is a political issue. That whether politicians are going to be in or out is going to be dependent on it. So our city, all our city, has women, this is a political issue. That whether politicians are going to be in or out is going to be dependent on it. So our city, all our city, has for the first time said, and all the polls show this, right, that violence against women And I will not say safety, but freedom for women. Real freedom for women, right?
I agree with the word. When you say safety, I think
Yeah.
that's a different connotation. I completely agree with Karuna when she says not just safety, freedom for women. Karuna, do you have a specific question that you want political parties, you want to ask them about how they will make women safe? Is there a question that bugs you all the time?
I have 3 things to say, and then I'm going to go to the question. And the 3 things are this. 1 is that as voters, we can't just fall for this let's keep women safe thing anymore. It's just not enough. You know, you can't just say that and get votes. The second thing is that there are a lot of concrete things that can be done. And what are these concrete things? We have all these new laws, and you know, we pass laws all the time. I was part of the drafting inputs to the new anti-rape laws. And yes, it was extremely important, right? But implement those laws. What are you going to do to implement those laws? Are you going to sit all of the government departments and ministries down and put down concrete measures, get finance for them, get budgets for them, get technical inputs, and make sure it happens?
Is there a concrete plan?
Are you going to do police reform? Are you going to make sure that every police person who is interviewed and recruited is not just asked, "Aapka kad kya hai aur aapki chaudai kya hai?"
Karuna, I think they get what you're trying to say. I mean, first of all, Karuna has a point. All political parties say the same thing. They say we will make women safe. But what are the concrete steps they have in mind? The manifestos have come out of all the 3 parties. Well, let's talk to the ABVP right now. They're affiliated with the BJP right now. Manu, tell me, how would you expect your party, if they come to power, how would you like to go, being a woman yourself?
We as our delegation met with the LG of Delhi. We gave our demand of charters that what all can be done. We gave certain suggestions which could be implemented. There was a third party model which we suggested, but there is no implementation of that.
Come on, Justice Verma.
Let's talk about what you suggested to the government and the LG as well. I'll come to you as well. Radhika, I'll come to you in just a bit. I just want a quick voice vote from the audience right now. Before I go to Radhika, let me ask you this. There were 2 persons who spoke. Right now, Karuna spoke and Manu spoke. They talked about December 16 last year. We all saw what really happened then. We all saw what we did after that. But who agrees with the voice vote that the follow-up to December 16 and exactly what happened took us back to square one? Who agrees that nothing has changed? Say yes. Yes. Everyone agrees that nothing has changed. Why hasn't anything changed? We'll ask our audience, we'll ask our panelists as well. One more quick voice vote right now. Do you agree when someone said right now, I know exactly who it was, that the time for politicians to go out of politics, I think is high time because we need to take charge. Who agrees there should be more participation by you and me in politics? Say yes. Yes. Everyone agrees as well. Radhika Krishnan next. Let's go to Radhika Krishnan. You are a student leader, Radhika. Now, you heard the politicians speak and they've given generics as well. What is your take on it as a student leader, as a woman, as someone who lives in Delhi? Who out of all of them has a best plan, if at all?
See, I want to carry forward from what Karuna was saying. The point that all of us who were part of the December 16th movement were making time and again was that what we are asking for is not protection for women. What we are asking for is protection of their freedom. महिलाओं की बेखौफ आजादी.
Fantastic point. She needs a round of applause for this. We can't stress this often enough. It's not safety for women. It's not protection for women. It's protection of their freedom and their rights. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we don't want, what we want our lawmakers to do, what we want our mechanisms to do, our governance systems to do is to protect women's freedom. And I find it almost appalling that I don't see the agenda of women's freedom coming up in the way that we want it to come. In the sense, we know that the roots of sexual violence run really deep down, and they need to be addressed at multiple levels. But as Karuna was saying, there are so many things that can be done here and now. Where are the police reforms? Where is the agenda that says that there will be a mechanism wherein policemen can be held accountable if they don't file an FIR? Or if they don't do a proper investigation. Where is the mechanism where we say that we will have rape crisis centers, or we will have better infrastructure for women, better transport facilities for women?
I know how difficult it is to convince the bureaucracy of this country to implement those reforms. You had 15 years to implement them in Delhi. What is your concrete plan for women's, not safety, safety of their freedom, protection of their freedoms? Do you have a 3-step plan? Do you have any ideas that can be implemented without delay? Go ahead, the floor is yours.
We have to take the country in totality. See, my counterpart said that it was rape cases. They spoke as if rape cases were only happening in Delhi. I would like to remind, especially Nupur, that as far as rapes are considered, Madhya Pradesh governed by BJP is the highest, rates highest in the country. I'm coming to that. So I would not, I'm coming to that. I'm making a point there. Just, please, I'm making a point there. I'm making a point there.
I'll come to you.
I'm making a point there. So let's not divide. That's what I am requesting. Let's not divide this debate into a Congress, BJP or any. I just answered. So I would not like this debate to be divided on those lines. Let's talk of what my other counterpart said as to what we can do, what I feel we can make n number of laws, n number of regulations.
Give me one step that can be implemented. One step.
So Justice Verma Commission came up and so many new, lot of brainstorming was done, and he came out with a very substantial document to curb the problem of rape in our country. Now what remains to see is, even if the government accepts it, the government has already accepted it, implementation part I would say is a must.
She says we've done analysis. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You say you've done analysis. There have been brainstorming sessions as well. He also mentioned the problem in the same sentence. She said implementation. No, we all know nobody wants rapes to happen. No sane person wants rapes to happen. No sane government would want that. No sane politician would want that. But the problem is implementation. Why do we always get killed because of implementation? Who agrees implementation is the worst in any, implementing any law in the country is a nightmare? Who agrees? Say yes. Yes. Implementation, ladies. Why is implementation so difficult? Preeti Sharma, let me come to you. Why is implementation so different? Everybody wants women to be safe. Not just women, every citizen to be safe. What is the problem? Implementation, is it such a huge deal that we can't overcome it?
Today, you and I, if any of you have had the nightmarish experience of going through filing an FIR for a rape for a child victim, the police will do anything. They will call the child victim an adult, they'll call it consensual, they'll do all kinds of ghastly things. It's so deplorable. The reason is simply because Congress, we know, has failed abysmally. 65 years they've been ruling us for the largest period of time. Now they are history. Okay, they're not there. BJP claims that it will bring about a change. But what's happening in their backyard? The CM Harshvardhan had a rape case in his own house with a maid, and there's no justice to the lady. Nitin Gadkari had a small child who was raped and murdered in his own car, in his own house. There's no justice for that child. And now the stalking episode. So how do you trust these guys? You cannot trust them. So what do we have to do? We have to take charge. We as Mohalla Sabhas have to take charge. We have to take accountability of our community. If there is a rape that's happened in my gully, I have to go there and be with that woman and file the FIR. This is the entrance into public life of common citizens that will make the difference.
Who here in this audience thinks 10 times before they approach a policeman, especially women, policemen for a problem with that? Does anyone approach freely? Show of hands, who approaches freely? Nobody does. Who has had problems here trying to approach policemen, especially women? Does anyone? Anyone? Not in this audience? Perhaps one there at the back, one hand there. It's a problem. It's a problem that we don't trust our police forces. But the show is not just about the police force. The show is also about what we can do to get this malaise out of our lives. Nupur Sharma, you heard what the Congress spokesperson had to say. I thought it was slightly generic, but that's just me. You wanted to rebut that. Go ahead, your time starts.
I want to rebut both of these guys. Yeah. Firstly, I would like to say that, Madam, especially you, 9 of your leaders in Rajasthan are actually accused in rape cases, including one minister of the state running the Congress government in the Rajasthan.
No, they are not contesting.
And similarly, I can give you Abhishek Manu.
But what's the solution? What is the solution?
I can give you N number. I'm going to now give you the solution.
Comment on
Let me just, we all know what's, I think you all watch television today. We all know about the scams of the money being siphoned off. We all know what's happening in the Aam Aadmi Party.
In Gujarat too.
On stage, on record to say that I'm not going to support the Aam Aadmi Party. Now I'll come for the BJP, the 3-pointers. I'm only going to give you 3 because our manifesto hasn't been released. It's getting released tomorrow. First and foremost, I hate this excuse that law and order is not under the purview of Delhi government. It's under your purview if you have to protect a politician, the politician's family, kids and kin, everybody. What happens when I go out on the street or you go out on the street? Let's just make sure that law and order is actually under the purview and the police is actually accountable for at least the security issues, at least I'm saying. I would like to have all the issues under the Delhi government.
So you'll amend the law? You'll amend the law? The BJP
will amend the system, sir. Yeah. Secondly, we've promised a Delhi Women's Protection Force, which we released in the vision document for the youth yesterday at the Delhi BJP office.
Karuna, before I throw it over to the audience, I want made extremely good points. The implementation part I'm not sure of, but your observations, very quickly, I want to go to the audience after that.
By and large, even though some people did make some interesting points, I think that political parties have not thought about this enough. They are coming and they are asking for your votes, and they are saying that, look, we are going to protect you, or even if they say we are going to provide you freedom, unless there is it's concretely there in their manifestos, and unless you can hold them to account on it, it's not enough. There is still time though. If you tweet your candidate, if you tweet your chief ministerial candidate and your local candidate, if you message them on Facebook, if you call them, and make sure you only vote for the party that will actually do something about this.
How does one ensure that? How does one ensure that? There is no guarantee that they will say what they want and what they will do, that they'll follow up later. We've learned that.
There are some dynamic women here, but actually what you need to do is you need to look at their party manifestos. What you need to do is you need to look at official documents that you can later hold them to account.
Absolutely.
And then what you need to do is you need to make sure that unless there is that concrete commitment, either vote none of the above, read, understand, which is the party that is concretely actually going to do something, and vote for that party.
All right, let me throw it open to the audience. Who has questions? Raise your hands. For anyone, yes, I can see a couple of hands there. One over there. I'll come to all of you very quickly, I'll take 2 questions at a time. Your name and what's your question? And to whom?
My name is Atul, and I've got a question for Oza ma'am. That when Nupur ma'am was talking, I heard you said something about Gujarat.
Yeah.
But from what I understand and what the country understands these days, that Gujarat has become a synonym for the word growth and prosperity.
Is it?
So, from what I've been...
And what is your idea on stocking, which the stocking
So
case
I wish to take your review over that, ma'am.
Yes,
I'll take one more question, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
I'll take one more question. You had a question.
My name is Rishabh, and my question is also for the Congress party. So, like the BJP mentioned, I want to ask you that whenever there's a issue about crime against women, the Congress party always passes the buck that the policing is with the center and not with the state government. So you have been in power for 15 years, and the Congress government has been in the center for 9 years. Why is there a problem, you know? No, and I have another...
It is not...
Two questions, ma'am. Two questions. Just hold on for 1 second.
Answer.
I'll take one more question for an audience member who's a woman, a female audience member, right here in the back. In the back. What's your name? Stand up and ask your question. Who do you want who's the question for?
My question is for everybody, every woman standing over there. It's like we all know about the politics and we all know what is happening around. We all know the rape cases, everything, the 15 years dynastic Congress party and our BJP party since 15 years. Okay, we all know them. Why don't we do one thing? We choose someone who is actually not a part of this party and all. Because we know that all these politicians at the end, whenever the scandals come out, these politicians are the actual people who are behind everyone's back. You might be knowing that politicians, MLAs, they are in every scene. Why don't we just choose some, why don't we go to universities and choose those students who are actually interested in politics and give them a chance? Give them a chance to do something. Because let's just don't end it here only. Let's just don't think that it's a Campus Connect thing and we're just making up scenes over here. We're just making it a reality show or something like that. If you're in Amity, give Amityans a chance to go into politics, to just prove it. I mean, just give me a chance.
Every one of us, we have so much responsibility to participate as citizens, right?
Exactly. I'm from Kashmir, I joined Youth Congress there, but I never got a chance to do anything. I mean, I just got an identity card which I used to showing in Kashmir, that's it. Though being a Kashmiri, I never got a chance to do anything. Now if I'm in Delhi, if I'm in Amity, maybe I'll get a chance to do something. I'm just asking you for a chance as a woman.
Alright, she's asking for a chance. I think she made some extremely good points. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The point being, of course, 2 questions before that young girl stood up and told her story. 2 questions for you, ma'am. You heard the 2 questions. Very brief answers. We have a time constraint. Yes.
As far as Gujarat is concerned, my young friend told me that he's just heard of development about Gujarat. Do you know, Gujarat has always been a developed state. It was never a Bimaru state even before BJP ruled it. My dear friend, because most of the businessmen come from Gujarat and most of the Gujaratis have been good businessmen. It was never a Bimaru state, and then it transformed into a...
You're saying it's high.
I'm coming.
Madhya Pradesh was Bimaru.
No, let her complete.
Listen.
There are questions for you
It
also.
is now Bimaru, it is never Bimaru.
questions
When
for you.
Congress
I'm
ruled
sorry,
it. You
madam.
please go to your statistics.
Please.
As far as the stalking case is concerned, is not this a concern for the youth of this country, that the entire government stalks a young girl, snoops into her, and then they say it's a personal matter.
Please.
As far as the stalking case is concerned, is not this a concern for the youth of this country, that the entire government stalks a young girl, snoops into her, and then they say it's a personal matter? Do you agree with me? I don't know how many of you are law students. Do you agree with me that is there any law in this country? If you have to provide ATS behind a girl, the state IB behind a girl, crime department behind a girl of that state, and we feel the Home Minister and the CM of that state goes scot-free.
Okay, but that's one case, ma'am.
Do you agree, or do you stand up for such a protection from the state? Or do we call it a snooping and stalking? Does it not disturb the youngsters of this country?
Madam, I'm going to ask.
This is not a competition between
this country.
criminals against women.
You know, what she said is, you are Praja, we are Raja. That's not it. Okay? Just as participation as voters will not do. You have to stand up as candidates, and I totally agree with that young lady over there, and that is exactly what we as Aam Aadmi have done. We have gone to colleges, we have gone to professionals, we have gone to people, and we have said, stand up for your country. So until we stand up, this is not going to change, because they're just going to blame each other. They're going to do lots of, you mentioned earlier about, accusations against Arvind Kejriwal. Obviously, if you're going to come and shake the very foundations of corruption which they're standing on, they're going to make a lot of false allegations on us, which some of them may be true, because see, we are a part of this society, and there may be a few corrupt people who are going to seep into our party. But we promise you we will take action against them. We have already removed 2 candidates when we found out that there were FIRs against them.
Yes, a young lady there.
My question's for everybody. A lot of times these crimes continue to happen because there's no consequences for these. So do you think it's fiscally rational for fast-track courts to be set up just so that women's issues could be dealt with?
I think, Karuna, you can answer that, the court's question, and then we'll go to Nupur on the other one. Yes,
yeah.
Karuna.
I think it's extremely important for fast-track courts to be set up. As far as I can see, it's lots of things need to be done, but we definitely need more judges, more infrastructure, and just better judging, better policing, better prosecuting, so that the rape conviction rate goes up from just 27%.
This question is for you. Like you said that Mrs. Sheila Dikshit, she has done a lot for Delhi. Okay, I agree on that. But all I can see in Delhi is the infrastructural part being developed. How can you convince me that what else has Congress done? Because all I get to hear is the 2G scams, the 3G scams, and the coal scam.
This question is centered to Delhi. So don't you think that there is a lot of infighting within the BJP in Delhi? And they have to get leaders, the national leaders, to actually campaign for them at the local level, at the state level, so that they can get some political advantage out of it.
All right, 2 questions, one for the Congress, one for the BJP. I'll come to you and you as well. Yes, I'll come to you in just a bit. But directly answer the question. I'll come to you as well. Answer the question. Yes.
Can I start with the lady
yes,
at the back?
Yes, please. Yeah. Go ahead. We have about 5 minutes. Nupur,
you asked a question saying that I need a chance to do something. Let me tell you, the motivation should come from within you. My father, my mother, my grandfather, nobody's a politician, nobody's a lawyer, and I'm both. I request you, everybody knows you have the full freedom to stand independently, and I encourage all women here, participate as much as possible wherever you can. Trust me, there is no stopping you. All you need to do is make yourself strong.
I really feel proud of Delhi when I come, and all people from all other states, when they come to Delhi, they feel, oh, Delhi has developed so much and we are lacking far behind. And our kids look towards Delhi for jobs, maybe for better life, and that's what Sheila Dikshit and Congress government has done to Delhi.
You've seen what their issues really are. You've seen women's safety is one. Mehengai, inflation is another one. Corruption is another one. These 3 issues. How will you tackle these 3 issues if the Aam Aadmi comes to power? You have 30 seconds.
Right. About women's issues, we've put it down in our manifesto. We've put down everything. And it's a very good thing that BJP is copying those similar items, because we want this change to come. We don't only want Aam Aadmi Party to do these things, we want other political parties to make women's issues a serious issue. So it's a good thing that they've copied us.
No, madam, we haven't. We've been older than you. Sorry.
Well, this manifesto is the one that they've copied, but that's nice. We are happy. We want this change. What that young lady said is a very important thing, that the men in this country seem to have an attitude where they can go back to wrongdoing any moment without any sign of remorse. But that is because there is no punishment in this country. The same person who throws kachra on the street over here doesn't throw it in New York, because there's punishment there. There is no fear of punishment here because our systems have failed. And we need better systems to make people accountable.
Nupur, take the stage. It's all yours. You have 30 seconds. Wow them.
All I'm going to say is that I think Uttarakhand and Gujarat already have a version of the Lokpal bill, and it was the media itself which questioned the Aam Aadmi Party that actually the Lokpal bill cannot be passed in a union territory. So please, madam, please explain on that. And third, let me complete. No, madam, but obviously it's a UT, it's not a state. Thirdly, I would definitely like to say that I have been right here in front of you. We don't need to copy our manifesto from anybody. We've been an old party. Not so old as Congress, I would like to say, but we've given you with some very good solutions. I request you all to please read the manifesto. I agree with Karuna. It's getting released tomorrow. Make a very informed choice. Not going to vote should not be a choice. You have an exercise, you can go and actually dab on no vote, but please go and vote and make sure you're voting not for somebody's dimple or somebody looks good, just because you want to be safe. This is especially for women because this is a women-centric program. You want to be safe. Just like I want to be safe and I want to live freely.
Make your voice heard, says Nupur of the BJP. We have only 2 more statements left. I'm running short of time, unfortunately. I really want to come to Radhika, who I think made some very interesting points. And I want her to remind you of how to advise you how to tackle problems. Radhika, you had some very interesting things to say at the beginning of the show. I was highly impressed. Tell them really what you do when you decide on which political party to support. Exactly. How do you survive as a girl in Delhi, and the elections, the importance. 30 seconds, go ahead.
The coming elections are very important, and I want to say just one thing. The devil is in the details. We need to understand which policy does what, and we need to ask our politicians to be accountable towards the policies that we want. These are just 2 examples, but I think as youngsters of this country, we cannot just sit back and hope that our politicians are going to take the right decisions. We need to be involved. We need to understand what policy making is all about. We need to understand the policies and understand the details in the policy.
All right. Many thanks, Radhika. Very good points as usual. I will wrap the show up. I'll request Karuna Nandi to wrap this up for us really.
For us in Delhi, this is a fundamentally important time. If our politicians believe that they can be voted in and out of power, depending on how they actually perform in the area of women's freedom, the game changes immediately. So make your voice heard. Let's make our voices heard, whether it's on TV, whether it's in protests, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, whether you are calling, whether you are writing letters.
Right.
Make your voice heard.
Make your voice
give the vote
heard,
to the person who
Karuna
will
Nandi.
actually make a change.
All right. Karuna, many thanks for those words. What we have to do now is, of course, what all our panelists said. Make your voice heard. Do not let this opportunity go. We are here at Amity University. I must thank all my guests who came. Karuna Nandi, many thanks for joining us. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. She made some really good points. Many thanks, Shobha Oza, for coming in. She came late, but you added to our debate. Many thanks for coming in to our show, Campus Connect. To Radhika Krishnan, she made some extremely good points, and I think you should listen to her as far as politics is concerned. Nupur Sharma, of course, had concrete plans for Delhi. Many thanks, Nupur, for joining us. Preeti Sharma from the Aam Aadmi Party, many thanks for joining us and coming here for our show. We also were joined by Manu Kataria from the ABVP. Many thanks, ma'am, for your input as well. That's all the time we had. Radhika Krishnan, I already mentioned. Miyol, that's all the time we have. Many thanks for joining us here, of course. What we do now is take your leave. This is Campus Connect 2 in Amity University. There will be much more to come, perhaps also from outside Delhi. That's all the time we have. My name is Athar Khan. Go and vote. Goodbye.